Hello and welcome. It is the first day of April 2019. My name is Derek. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. And time for an XBY update. Why? Because I think it's an important time to do so. All bets, trades are the like within each's own risk and their own reward. But I mean, we're all adults. If you're willing to make any investments, well, that's your risk and your reward. If whenever the situation comes through, of course. I'm going to go through the data on the right hand side, then I'm going to blow that chart up and talk about that afterwards. Although I will use that chart for what it's important, which is why I have it displayed as well. The chart on the left represents how XBY has been trading since it's been on the coin exchange. I said that word twice in a row, but that's because their name is Coin Exchange, and then you refer to them as being an exchange, like the Binance exchange. Okay. A month after the fact of Cryptopia going down January 14th, this opened up. So 1 month where XBY couldn't even have been traded, really. Technically, Trade Satoshi had it, but it wasn't even. It was a major ghost town there. And amongst it, it's been now trading since for a month and a half. And its movement, well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But Cryptopia, January 14th, early morning, New York time, is when everything really shut down. That's when the Twitter update came, and then the site going into maintenance, which has yet to come off, took place. Now for XBY, its range in here, which is January 1st to January 12th, or its previous 12 days, it's really to note where it was short term because it's important. 318 to 395, and you can't see the numbers too well, but that was between here and here. And then on January 13th, with already a little bit of a decline because the price had already fallen from that number down to 287, down about 10%, and it wasn't that volatile, only having a little over like about 20% range on the 12 days, and for a coin like that, that's pretty low in moves. But at 7:59 p.m. Eastern Time, the day before the event, that was a big situation. It broke that major key level around that 300. And instantly, one person sold it down starting at 7:59 p.m. and it only takes a millisecond to sell everything at once, which is what was done. Sold down to 200. I bought it that. I think I bought 201. And then at 8 p.m., a minute later, it was sold at 244. And then a minute after that, it was sold at 284. How does that happen? Well, somebody put a buy order in at 244 and somebody just sold it down. Like the second after they did it, there's a buy order. Automatic maybe. Regardless, someone inserted a bid order of 244 and it was taken within a minute or so after the big selling of 25% down was done instantly. And then at 284, so somebody put a really big buy order in at that number. And of course, the sellers are like, sweet deal, I'm going to take that. At 8:40 p.m., somebody put a sell order, well, there was a sell order of 291 was put in place. Somebody took it and bought it. And then for the next 3 or so hours, assorted trades between 280 and 290. I did sell in there. Just a little bit, not much. And that's the last time I've traded on Cryptopia. So sell or buy means who the taker was. If it's a sell, that means the person pushed the button to sell at the given market price and they took it. And if it's a buy, someone bought and took the sell order. As far as the supply of the market is concerned, this is what's very, very interesting. Let's first talk about the live market, which is coin exchange, where you actually can trade there now. If you were to buy every single coin that's available, you would accumulate 416,566 XBY. It would cost you a whole heck of a lot. That doesn't cost you 0.755. That's the supply there. We'll get to that very, very soon. It's a very low number for it to be only at 416,000. The bulk Bitcoin, if you were to sell every single order down, the sum of all buy orders is 0.755, which makes me a pretty big game player because I got a good fraction of that number. That doesn't take much. All it takes is one person, really, to bring that down to 120, 130, 140. We're going to talk about that very, very soon. And then on Cryptopia, they have enabled people to remove buy and sell orders for quite some time now. And on the Bitcoin exchange, and the Litecoin and Doji ones would be much smaller, so we'll just focus on the Bitcoin one. 14 million are available, which I tried to use archive.org, web archive, the history, and I couldn't find what the supply was anytime beforehand. I tried looking, but they didn't give me the data. But I would have presumed it was like 40, 50, 60 million. Most of the 40 million, I would think. It's close to 10% of the overall 650 that they state that's on there on the web pages. And only 0.2 up for buy, which a lot of it has been deleted. Normally, you'd see that number like 2 or 3 or 4 Bitcoin. And before today, Coin Exchange got up to like even 1.75, 1 2/3. But a lot of it was just most recently sold down. Let's view this chart a little bit further. And what was of note was how it broke down below 300 on the Cryptopia before the hack, and it then it just went back up to like the 260, 270 level, and that's how the day concluded. Well, how has this reacted since the fact? Well, let's do a highlight of that range. So 200 would be basically like right in here, and then right around in here. So originally the market was able to find support in the early stages of March at its previous level that it had before January 14th, January 13th even. But when March I don't know what number, but when this happened, it then changed it. It resisted that 300 number. And for this entire time, the price action has just been staying in this area. It's just a waiting game for Cryptopia to come back on. And then when that happens, this is where I'm going to explain to you what I think will happen and how I'm playing it. But to tell you how I'm playing it, I got into this site without owning any XBY on here. For all my XBYs that I own on Cryptopia, I have no access to. And I still today have no access to. And one of the earlier reports that I read, I gotta think it was close to 2 weeks ago now, was that they really plan on being in full system force in the early stages of April. And they've been pretty decent in the last couple of months, or close to, or last month, and we'll say, the month of March, that is. They've been very good within their daily tweets when they put them out. They've been a little disactive lately, but there's another period in time where that was the case in March as well. So they will be back soon. But I had no coins here. So what I ended up doing was putting buy orders in. And what happened in here was when somebody put a sell order in for 200. Might have been this one here. And it was pretty big. So I bought a lot of it up, and now I'm starting to play this game. At least on this site, and with coins I can actually do stuff with. And when the prices go higher like this, yeah, of course I sold. When I'm buying at 200, what am I doing for sell orders? I'm going to sell very small at 240 to 250. Then I get around, and this ranges up, and 280, 310, 340, 400, 500. Well, that one didn't hit, but the 400 sure did. I only had one buy order before. I only bought once before this fall, and that buy was at like 251. So it would have been one of these ones in here, which I managed to get another sell in here. And then when the prices were at these lower levels, just before this fall, roughly in here, maybe yeah, I think it was in here, 290, and it was lower, 290 and lower. So it was this here. This is when I decided, let's sell everything. I'm playing this game. Risk reward management. The risk here is that I'm wrong, market doesn't go up, and I'm left with no additional coins from this site, but some Bitcoin profit. The reward is that the prices go lower and I can get a lot more than I had before, and that's exactly what happened. As the price went nicely lower, and I was buying even under 200 in here. The markets didn't get to 400, but when I'm going up to here, yeah, it's been a matter of selling, and I didn't sell everything this time, but in this little area in here, I did sell. I got down. Of everything that I bought here, I sold about 77% of what I bought back after I sold everything before. So I've got 23% still of what I had before. But earlier today, we had this sell come in. To 0.69 Bitcoin, I think it was. A sell order. Just one time. Or 24-hour volume was this morning when it hit this bill. So though it was 204, that was me. And I didn't fill my order. I also bought a little higher than that too. So I got a good amount of coins. I bought, let me just do the math in my head. About 29% of what I bought back in here. I mean, I've barely even started. My buy orders at 212 and 204 were like, yeah, it's just a start. Put an okay amount here at 212. Good amount at 204. I only bought like 1,000 at that number. It wasn't like much or whatever. A little more, maybe, I don't know. And then 200, I got a lot there. I think I own the entire 200 order, I think. It's 5 digits. And I got more 5-digit orders even below that. Like 180, maybe not 5 digits at that, but 160, all the way down to 100. And I think it's going to go there. I really, really do. And within such, this market is responding just towards where it was. There has been a lack of buyers, but who's been buying it up? Well, there's a lot of people that want to get a hold of it. It's the only place they can buy it now. So that's what's happened. And who's selling in this market? Well, there's only two people. There's only two kinds of people that can sell. That's it. And not anymore. The first is those who have, or had, or still have some, of course, XBY in their hardware wallets of some sort. Software wallets, desktop wallets, what may have you, where they have access to the funds. And they transfer them on, and there is not only supply that's needed for this market, but then they can sell it down, and that's what they do. The only other people that can sell it down are people that bought this market. So if there are some people here that bought at any of these price peaks, in here, maybe this buy in here, any of this buying, they might be like, yeah, I'm going to get out, so they sell. So those are only two people right now that can sell. The game will change when Cryptopia opens. And I'm pretty certain the price is going lower. Pretty certain. And the simple reason is, Cryptopia's back open. We're looking at a market that is not reflected to other sites. Like a lot of those other coins, Red Coin, the Feather coins, and all the other coins that are traded on Bittrex and the like. Well, I mean, they got to keep the price in that area because then you can just transfer the coins out at least in time, and the market can't go much lower than the main prices. But they still probably will by a few percent on those coins. But as far as coins like this, where they have the monopoly or the virtual monopoly, and this is the monopoly that they had, Well, that's where the supply is for these coins, and a lot of them are going to be forced to be selling because they're going to want to take Bitcoin or whichever coin and get it out of there. Turn into dollars. Just leave the crypto space, but definitely just leave Cryptopia and trade Binance and all this stuff. There's going to be a lot of people like that. And they're going to have no choice because there's just how many of them are going to take those XBY and just move it to their software wallet? Oh, there'll be some. But there's going to be a lot that are going to sell it down. When they're open, then there's going to be that of the arbitrage. We'll assume first that the wallets are open. If not, then the market will still play this way anyway. And what will happen is you can withdraw and deposit XBY on Cryptopia. Well, now you can take your XBY and move them to this site, and you can send supply here. And what's going to happen is on Cryptopia, this thing is it's going to go down. It's going to go down to 200, 175, 150, and even down to maybe even 100. Especially because the market's going to have very low supply on the buy order side. So there's going to be a lot of people are going to be like, oh my goodness, I got to wait for people to put buy orders in for me to sell even pretty good. And a lot will just take those lower prices. And someone will say, okay, well, there's some supply on Coin Exchange. I'm going to move my XBY there to sell. And then there's going to be people like me who know the art of arbitrage. Where if I'm seeing I can buy XBY on Cryptopia, say at 133, we'll say, and I can sell it down on Coin Exchange for 200 even or 180 even, I'm going to do that. It's a profit. And then that just the arbitrage examples when markets get out of hand on one side or another amongst two exchanges will work the markets in balance together. That's what the arbitrage people do to help the markets and help their portfolios. And the arbitrage history for XBY is very exciting. For when I started this, it was when the Washington Capitals were playing the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They lost in the first round that year. They're going to do it again this year, probably. We'll see. But it was April of 2017, and it was on two exchanges I don't like. But it was traded without a monopoly, where both exchanges were relatively close in volume. And that's where I'm predicting we're going here. I think Coin Exchange will have about 60% of the volume and Cryptopia will have about 40%. That's the area. But either way, if it's in that ballpark, you got a very exciting times because you no longer have a leading market exchange, which has what the fair price I call it. Where if you got one exchange trading something at 80 Bitcoin volume and the other one's trading it at 1, well, the one at 80 is where the fair price is. And in such, you can get a lot more better volatile moves when one's trading at, in this case, maybe one's trading at 2 Bitcoin, the other one's trading at 3. Then 30% volatile arbitrage plays become available more frequently. And that was available amongst two exchanges. And then in the summer of 2017, Cryptopia opened it up. They were the small player to start, but they had some pretty good participants from the get-go. Very good profitability because people were buying it up there, so I was consistently for about 6 weeks selling on Cryptopia, moving funds out. Like 90% of my trades on Cryptopia were sell, 85 even. The rest were buys. And it was really weird, like, oh my goodness, arbitrage to buy on Cryptopia. But what I would normally do is sell Cryptopia, the XBY, and then buy it on one of the other sites and get the better deal, and then just consistently keep moving XBY into Cryptopia and Bitcoin out. That was fun because it was good profit. But then both of those exchanges had a lot of problems, and they're done as far as XBY. Even though technically a YoBit was one of them, they still have it, but it's such a bad site, and that wallet has been screwed up for like a year and a half. It's close to 2 years now. It was like summer of 2017, like August or something. Both of them had problems at that time frame, which is what made it easy for Cryptopia to get the monopoly on the XBY trade. Coin Falcon in 2018 would enter the scene, but they were very small. And I was able to get some arbitrage opportunities there until they decided to delist XBY. And then on the resumption here, I guess that play will be available to me again. So I'm thinking for myself as a trader, when things go back on, I'm going to try to accumulate as many of these coins as I can and buy on both sites, arbitrage if it's available. If it works out that the XBY market opens on Cryptopia and the wallets are still offline, And then you're going to have more likelihood of prices being off match from one exchange to another, where Cryptopia will probably be significantly lower than here. But that's because if you want to arbitrage it, you're limited in what you can do. Because once you buy on one site and sell on the other, you're done until the wallets are open. So I could technically say, uh, buy all my Cryptopia up on XBY, or buy XBY and Cryptopia, sell everything on Coin Exchange. I'll have none left. So until the wallets are open, or I can find a way to buy on Coin Exchange, I would no longer be able to arbitrage anymore. But I wouldn't be surprised if both when you see the markets coming in here, and even it might even trade there for a couple of days. But I think it's going to bounce back pretty good. And the mathematics to profit, if I'm able to see prices come in here based on the supply of Bitcoin on both sites I'm willing to buy, how much am I willing to sell, do you think? How much of what I bought will buy in that I haven't bought yet? How much of what I haven't bought yet would I sell within that range I show between, say, 235 and 320? 5% tops. Not much. Not much. But I'll sell some of it. And then I'll sell another of what I buy. Maybe 5, 6, 7% of it in maybe this range. And the amount of profit I'll be getting with an average buy, with what I'm hoping will come out to be like 160, 150. Especially if I can hit that 100 number, oh, that's going to be beautiful. But I'm not going to focus on getting cheaper than 100. Maybe I can get it. I just don't think that, for two reasons, I don't like it. One, because there's no guarantee it's going to hit, and your Bitcoin will stay Bitcoin. And of course, I think the market's going to go higher. So if I buy it 100 or 10 or 70, it's going to win either way. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to do it. But yeah, what was the other one? So one, I don't have this one. I want just the probability odds of getting it. I want to make sure that everything I get gets played. I don't like the odds that it's gonna probably do much below that. But I realize if I'm able to buy how I'm doing, I will average. I will have an average order if it all fills at 150. Even if my average order is 180, 175, 190. And I don't think it'll be that high because I'm really, really confident that when Cryptopia gets it going, that it's going to go down. And that will conclude this video because it's now almost 23 minutes in duration. If I were to throw a few commercials in here and there, put it on the old school television set, there's 7 minutes of commercials I could fit in the middle at different times, but I don't play that game. Although there's commercials here and there for some people. It doesn't make me much. It makes me something though. You help out with we'll just say 7 meals a month, maybe 8 meals. Not bad. Which is just turning into whatever into cash. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.